are just so many questions that so many of you guys have about cabin crew. My beauty, product recommendation, makeup recommendation. I've taken some time to dig out some of the items that I used to have in the airline and I used to use in the airline. I also got my cabin crew bag here. So this is my crew bag, which I put in a plastic bag because the leather is coming out because it's been 2 years, guys. If I had to film this video for you guys, there are some products that I no longer use anymore, but I actually dug them out, and some of them have really gross foundation on it. So I think all of these things. Basically, every time we go for a flight, we carry 3 bags. The first bag that we carry on our shoulder, and then the second bag is this. We actually call it the Mama San bag. So it's like this black, huge, voluminous bag that has a lot of compartments, very handy for travel. And this bag is the kind of cabin bag that you can carry along. You don't have to check it in. So these are the 3 bags that we have. So for this bag, basically inside I've got all my essential travel documents, things like my passport, and also a little notebook that I carry. There are things that I would carry that are pertaining to like some cards that we were given during training, that is like to do with first aid, that is to do with cabin safety. I was trained for the Airbus 350, the Airbus 380, the Airbus 330, which I think is no longer in service. And I was trained for the Boeing 777. But then again, for the Boeing 777, there were a few variations for the aircraft. So I remember back in my days, we had to memorize, because every single variation in every different type of aircraft, it's so crazy. As a newbie, when you come on flight and then you're like, I don't know where everything is. You're looking left, you're looking right, and then you got your colleagues. Some of them have been flying in airlines for years, and then they know everything and every single thing. And as a newbie, sometimes you're really scared to ask. Because you never know what kind of reply you'll be getting, right? So sometimes it'll be a really helpful one, but sometimes, when especially if your colleagues, which is understandable, they're rushing, they're like, don't disturb me, you don't really you don't really want to get in the way of other people. The one thing that you have to remember, especially when you are new cabin crew, is to always put safety first. Like, safety is the highest thing, above everything else. Why? Because this is an aeroplane we're talking about, right? And it's like hundreds of people's lives we're talking about, right? So you definitely want to know anything that could happen during the flight, like an medical emergency. You definitely want to know where everything is being kept in terms of the medical stuff, the safety stuff, the security stuff. So there are a lot of things that could happen in a flight, so you always want to be prepared. What else do I have in my bag? So I used to have, it's like a pledge that we were given, our service beliefs and stuff. So I won't be sharing everything because when you join Singapore Airlines, you will receive all these as well, and you will be briefed on it anyway. I used to carry my hotel key cards too. Like, I have a collection of hotel key cards. I'm sighing because looking through all of this is bringing back so many memories. Like, it's just crazy. This is a calendar by my company. So it was back in 2020. Over here, we have a description of flying to Delhi, India. And they have this is the way the calendar is structured, with a cabin crew stewardess here. And I got some menus here for you guys to look at too, which I got from my business class flying days. So I think when you join the airlines, I think it differs from airline to airline, but for the airlines I was in, we went for business class training about 2 years I think, if I'm not wrong, when I was there, after like 2 years when I was flying. Of course, if you ask me my preference, it's a straight no-brainer. I prefer working in business class. Why? Because there's fewer passengers, and then the passengers, I think I got to learn a lot more about the different kinds of cuisines and wines back then. And of course, that was where I learned the most service finesse. I think when you join the airlines, you should definitely carry the business class attitude. The way you treat a business class passenger, you should treat across all passengers, you know, even the economy class passengers. So we used to have a lot of post-it pads also, like these, that we would carry around with us. Singapore Airlines pen too, that I have here that I'll write things down. And then send this, like if somebody wants like a Bloody Mary or like a glass of water, we'll write the seat number, and then we'll write this down, and then we'll send it across to our colleagues, who will then pass it, you know, to the galley, and we'll do like a relay kind of thing. A cabin crew tag, and a very funny thing, this was actually given to me by one of my colleagues back then. She's very kind. It's a very nice plastic tag that she gave me, because otherwise my tags are like paper tags. And you can see they are super weathered. And I got a sewing kit as well. Oh my gosh, I got like blue tag over here. So I think I used to carry blue tag, and I had to get my sewing kit, you know, a needle and thread, and then like go to the toilet and like stitch it in. I have some like rubber bands to tie my hair, extra rubber bands. And back in the day, I used to use this lipstick all the time. You can see I have 3 of them. The red just pops, and it's the exact kind of red that I always paint on my nails. The lipstick that you use has to match the color of your fingernails. Here I got a lot of these bobby pins. So for those who are interested in my French twist video, these are the kind of pins that I use to tie my hair, like secure my French twist. These are called U pins. The length of these are about 6 cm long. Since we're on my hair now, the hairspray that I use is Nelly Lacquer hairspray. Okay, so this is the huge one. This one is 400 ml. So if you're traveling, what I would advise you to get is get this small version. This is the 75 ml version. So it's below 100 ml, so you're allowed to bring it on board with you. Just remember to pack it in a Ziploc bag. You can get a Ziploc bag from anywhere, from Daiso, from your supermarket. Just pack this in, and yeah, I use Nelly Like a hairspray. This hairspray is my favorite of all. It really gives that crazy shine, and it really helps you to installing your hair, keeping your hair in shape, putting it in place. And then this is very handy. I always keep this. So there are different hairstyles in SQ. When I first started out, I actually had short hair, and it was only slowly that I started to leave long hair. I eventually tied French twist. So when I had short hair, I used a lot of this hair straightener, Jazzy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm sorry if I slaughtered the name. And it was recommended to me by one of my fellow ex-colleagues. So for hair, I use Nelly Lacquer hairspray as well as Cha Hong spray. So this one is a little bit tricky. I only use for my fringe sometimes, not all the time. And the way I use it is a little bit different from these. But 99% of the time I use these two, because this one doesn't really last as long as compared to these. So I would still recommend that you get these. I have this mirror as well that I sometimes use and sometimes bring on my flights to sort of shine my head, like, you know, check out my French twist from the back. In my video, you would see that I was using another phone to check out my hair, right? But you can definitely use a mirror as well. I use this watch. It's a Skagen watch, and it's my favorite watch, one of my favorite brands. I don't know why, but I really love these kind of watches. Basically, my skincare routine when I was in the airlines is very different from my skincare routine now. When you're flying, the air tends to be so much drier. In Singapore, the air is super humid here. It's very moist. The kind of skincare products you use in Singapore is gonna be super different from if you were flying. And in most countries like the UK, the US, Europe, Australia, you know, in most countries outside of Singapore, outside of Southeast Asia, the air tends to be so much drier than in Singapore. So you definitely do want to moisturize your face and make sure your face is hydrated. Hyaluronic acid is so important, I cannot emphasize. And I use these skincare masks almost every single flight. Not almost, every single flight. After every single flight, I will use these sheet masks. So I do want to disclaim that whatever skincare products that I'm sharing with you guys right now is mainly for use when you're flying. It's actually when I stopped flying and I came back to Singapore, my skin broke out like crazy. The toners that I use, I might have changed some toners here and there, not a lot, but this is one that I can remember that I used. I remember at some point I started using The Ordinary. I think this was like towards the end of my flying. Sometimes it's good to switch around your skincare products and to try out new ones. It's actually from Etude House. This is a moisturizer from Etude House and I really love this one. Like, I remember this one is the one that I would use for every single flight. I used the toner and the emulsion that was samples that came together with these. They work pretty good as well. Sometimes I sleep with this as well, like a layer. So I use this when I prepare my skin for flight. I use this after flight as well to moisturize my skin. And lastly, I use this as a makeup remover. This was recommended to me by one of my colleagues too, and I have been using this like for years. This is the one that I used. I've tried using the rose water edition before. I really love it. Hey, let's get into the makeup. Okay, so all you girlies must be so excited because I am. Go in order of the products that I use for flight. I definitely start off with sunscreen. This is the one that I'm using right now, but when I was flying, all I used was a NASA. One of my colleagues recommended that brand to me as well when I first started flying, and when I used it, I never looked back. I just want to share this crazy good sunscreen plus foundation that I used when I came back to Singapore. And I don't know why, but I can't find this anymore. If any of you guys know where to get this, please let me know because I really love this so much. Again, I used this when I stopped flying. Okay, I did not use this in the aircraft. I use foundation. So the last foundation I used was Givenchy foundation. Right now in Singapore, after I came back, I don't use foundation anymore. This foundation is only for you know, creating that coverage that you need for flights. The moment I got this, it worked really well for me, and I don't use huge much. And then I will continue with concealer, and the concealer I have been using is NARS. Obviously, before using this NARS, I tried a few others. They're good, but not as good as this one. I went for brow embroidery earlier this year, so sometimes I don't draw my brows anymore. But back in the airline, I used Benefit, and I don't have the box, but this is the eyebrow pencil that I use. So what I'll do is I wouldn't color the whole brows because this is very dark. So I would just fill it in a little bit, and then I'll use this brush to like do this, you know, like fill it in. And just a disclaimer guys, I am not a professional makeup artist. the techniques that I use are sometimes very unprofessional and very unconventional. So if you ask me things about, you know, like what brushes I have, what's this brush for, I mean, generally I kind of know a little bit. If you were to ask me like, what's the difference between this brush and this brush, I wouldn't know the difference. I'm the kind of person who just uses whatever that I have on hand and whatever that works. To the extent that I apply my foundation, I apply my concealer, I use my fingers. And I found that to work best for me. What I use now for my brows is NYX, and this was actually bought by my mom. She went to Switzerland and she ventured into some makeup shop, I guess, and she wanted to get me something, so she got me NYX, and it's like a liquid eyebrow tint pen. After using this for my brows, I use the same, I call it my eyebrow brush. For my blush, some of you might have seen in my video, I'm actually using the Chanel blush, and this was actually a gift from one of my friends. I'm very grateful for her as well. She got me this as a birthday gift back then, and the shade is really pretty. Licensor de Chanel. I'm sorry, French people, I really like it. It has a little compact mirror here. If she's watching this video, I appreciate you and I appreciate what you did for me back then. So yeah, thank you so much. She gave me this pressed powder as well from Chanel, which is really good actually. So this one is a powder that you want to use in the final stages of your makeup. So this powder is really pretty. There's like the Chanel house, and then somewhere along the line, like this was the last palette that I used. It's by Tarte. You can see it's really flimsy looking right now. Basically, you break down your eyelid into 3 sections, and then the lightest shade goes on all 3 sections. And then number 2, you want to take the glitter shade and put it only on the 2nd section, and maybe a little bit on the 3rd. And then lastly, you want to take the darker shade and you put it on the 3rd section at the corner here. And once you're done, you blend it. Not like blend the whole thing, but you kind of like make it so that it's a nice gradient. Like you do this with your eye, you know, you dab, and then like once it looks nice, you can also draw a reference from my previous video when I was doing my makeup for my eyes. And then once that's done, I'll go in with an eyeliner from Kate Tokyo as well. This was my go-to, the one and only eyeliner that I stuck to using for many years. There was a point in time when I couldn't find it in Singapore anymore, so I used Huda instead. This one. So this was pretty good as well. I believe I used this in my last flight as well, so it's in a video as well, so it gets the job done. If you're getting an eyeliner, I would recommend getting one that has like the finest tip, so you can style your eyeliner, your wing in the exact shade that you want, so it makes it easier. So for lips, when I'm flying, I never ever forget to do a lip liner, and this is so important because lip liners basically make your lip color super long lasting, and you just try it out. Trust me, the difference between wearing lip liner and not wearing lip liner, if you're going out especially for many hours in that day, definitely want to be wearing lip liner for your lip color to be lasting, especially when you're eating. If you're a clumsy eater like me, a lip liner reduces that, so it makes sure that your lip continuously has color. Layer on so many lip colors. So there are some people who ask me in the comments, hey Ava, what lipstick do you use? I have so many, mix a lot together at once. So the first thing I would use is a Silky Girl Rose lip liner. This is an approved shade back in my days. So basically I would use any shade of red, and I used to use Berry M. This is really good. I would use this lipstick by Charlotte Tilbury. It kind of gives like a nudish finish, but layering it on to the lip liner gives it, you know, additional color, additional protection, additional layers. And when you eat your food, when you're wearing lipstick, you want to make sure that you're really careful. Like, you don't want to be eating like with your teeth, I don't know, like the spoon comes in, you want to be like eating like this. After applying this, I will apply another shade of this. I mean, exercise your own discretion, because if you mix colors, some of the red might get into this red. I remember I would go to Japan and I would grab so many pieces of these. So this is like a lip gel magic by Cozy. Sometimes I will apply this. So what this does, I will finish off my lip action by applying this. So what this does is gives a very glittery texture, and best of all, most importantly, it creates a layer so that your lipstick is not transfer proof. So that really helps. And together, a combination of all these is one of the keys to making your lipstick last long. Currently though, I use this by Charlotte Tilbury. This is the shade that I'm wearing right now. I have also tried fresh lip tints. So this one is in papaya shade. I used to use, but not that often, is this Avene water. So sometimes, especially on longer flights, I use this to like spray my face in the middle of a flight to hydrate it. For perfume scents, I use Eau de Toilette. So I use this by Body Shop. I've used L'Occitane as well. Burn the Roses, I think that's how you pronounce it. I really love roses scents. A lot of crew love to use Jo Malone English Pear. So I hope this video was useful to you. If you enjoyed this video, please do give this video a like and hit the subscribe button as well on the side so that you'll get notified new videos that I'll make. Let me know in the comments below what you love about this video. I hope that you guys will chase your dreams. Go ahead to chase your dreams bravely, courageously, and to live your best life yet. Thank you, and see you in the next video. I will apply this first, and then I will follow it with like a Cozy Magic Gel Kit. And what this does is you put a coating over your lips after you put your lipstick. And then there's this like glittery layer on your lips. It kind of makes your lipstick transfer proof. So that's what I used to love about this.